Here's the first one. This is just vile stuff. And what's interesting about this interview is, remember, Dave Rubin was supposedly like the last real liberal. He's a thinker. He's a cultural critic. He's an analyst. But now Dave Rubin voted Trump and is nodding along to what Lauren Boebert says, one of the most radical members of Congress, complete lunatic right winger. So let's go to clip number 1 of 4.
I just pulled my kids out of public school because they brought back mask mandates. And
whoa.
They're not letting up on it. And I said, okay, well, we're doing something else because I'm not subjecting my children to this again. And so we're pulling them out and doing something on our own. But
are you homeschooling now?
It'll be a hybrid version of homeschooling.
Are you homeschooling now? As if it would be perfectly logical to put your kids in homeschooling because they need masks, which is shown to reduce transmission. It's crazy. Or you're homeschooling now, right? All right, clip number 2. Here we go.
Keep us so divided and so separate. And previous members of Congress who have been there previously, they'll tell you it's never been this way. There was always communication between Republicans and Democrats, and now it is so divided. And that's by design. She wants to keep us separate. She wants the House chambers empty.
You're talking about Nancy.
Nancy Pelosi, yes.
Right. Oh, yeah. His contributions like actively are just making it clear that he's fully off the deep end.
And she truly believes this is Pelosi's house, not the...
Do you guys think Lauren Boebert is Whitney, the regular caller? Is that possible? Now I'm actually thinking it's possible. All right, so that's clip number 2. She says Nancy Pelosi wants the house empty. Why would she want the house empty? Not clear. But Dave Rubin's like, you're talking about Nancy, right? Nancy Pelosi. Oh, yeah. Clip number 3. Oh, hold on a sec.
Nancy Pelosi has called me the enemy within. We have metal detectors outside of the House chambers because of me. And so it seems.
Whoa, that's really funny. Wow. You are such a danger and you refuse to just follow rules to the point where they maybe have been forced to put metal detectors at the door. What a thing to be proud of. I made it so that they needed to escalate security at my place of work. When your place of work puts in place security measures to protect other coworkers from you, it's not exactly something to be proud of. Okay, and then now clip number 4, and this one's wild.
I objected to the Electoral College results because the Constitution was violated. And that's our biggest threat right now, is the complete disregard of the Constitution.
Now, a real question to ask here would be, Lauren, now I know this is a crazy question to come up with. You'd have to really be thinking, Lauren, in what ways was the Constitution violated? That's the full question. That's it. That's the full question. And then you see what happens. Oh, there's more. Let me see if I can find more of it. Dave Rubin, Boebert. Let's see if I can find other clips. Oh, full interview. Oh, let's check this out, actually.
To state government for help. I've stood in line for government cheese. I've stood in line for bread. And I knew at 11 years old that was not America's best, that there was more for us. We didn't live that way in Florida. We didn't have to pay with monopoly money for groceries in the grocery store. And that's what we were doing in Colorado. My stepdad, he ended up getting work in Aspen when I was about 12, and we moved to the western slope of Colorado, and that really was the best thing that could have ever happened to us. We moved into a community that wasn't just telling us where to get...
Yeah, I don't know why it starts like this with no introduction. Oh, I guess then they go to an introduction.
...a hand out, but they were offering a hand up.
Oh.
All right, I'm Dave Rubin, and we are live in studio today with the Congresswoman from Colorado's 3rd District, Lauren Boebert, welcome to the Rubin Report.
Thanks so much for having me on, Dave. This is fantastic to actually be in person with someone talking face to face. Imagine that.
Face to face. We've got what, about 4 feet between us? Are we in any sort of legal trouble? Could this get you kicked out of Congress?
Listen, even bringing guns doesn't seem to even participating in the planning of the January 6th riot doesn't seem to get you kicked out.
According to political science, we are in deep trouble right now.
What about regular science? I know political science, we're in a lot of trouble.
I think we're okay with regular science.
All right, we got you all the way out to crazy California.
Yes.
You're here for a couple days.
Yes.
How do you feel in California? You come from the, I would say, relatively free state of Colorado, or the once really free state?
Once
sort
really
of
free.
hanging on free state?
Yes, we are hanging on. I do believe that there are more conservatives in Colorado than the average person would know. We are slowly turning into California, and really it's been quicker than any of us would have liked to have seen, but we have a governor from California who wants to mimic everything that's happened here. There's been
biomimicry.
Documentaries that have gone out, the Rocky Mountain Heist. There's a book, the Colorado Blueprint, and they were kind of sounding the alarms of what was happening, and that Colorado was really a petri dish for all of these liberal policies that Democrats want to take nationwide. And if they can do it in Colorado, they can do it anywhere successfully. And so that's what we're seeing. And we didn't have any voices in Colorado. So I'm really happy to be that loud voice in Colorado right now to let everyone know what's happening to us there.
Yeah, and I've done a couple events in Colorado over the last couple of years, although unfortunately none in the last.
I'm feeling, secondhand, I saw that. Secondhand embarrassment. I'm feeling embarrassed for both of these people.
Year and a half. But when I was on tour with Jordan Peterson, I went, and a few other things.
It was a tour.
What I noticed when I talked to a lot of people was, Dave, could you make sure all the California people stop coming here?
Yes.
Are you still hearing a lot about that?
Yes, we still have Californians coming, and these political refugees are bringing their bad policies with them. And so, I mean, that's really devastating to our communities because we like our rural way of life. And
did you guys hear that? It sounded like something just happened in the background there.
We don't want that that urban
my
lifestyle.
Dog
hey,
has
buddy.
decided
Oh, it's a dog.
Hi. I have dogs. I have goats. That brings
We're not
me so much
editing
joy.
this out, but Clyde does have to leave.
So sweet.
Clyde just opened the door.
Oh, hello.
Congresswoman. He's
Hello.
attacking the
You love me.
Congresswoman. We could be in trouble here. I'm so sorry. Well, we have the outtake for the show. Clyde, you got to go now.
Hi.
Guys, do we have a
So
treat
happy.
or
Sorry.
What a relatable moment, guys.
That brings me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
I love animals. I have 4
We
boys.
don't
so
edit
it's,
here, so-
yes,
I have 4 boys, so I love animals. Okay.
wild.
Yeah, so people are constantly opening the door and
Yes.
breaking into your interviews and things. Sorry, you were saying.
I don't know where we were, but with everything that's where were we?
Well, we were talking about the Californians coming.
Yes.
Is Rubin out of focus slightly? I'm actually unclear. He seems slightly out of focus to me. It's weird.
And they're bringing their
Yeah.
bad policies with them. And so there really is an urban and rural divide. And we want to keep rural Colorado rural. But unfortunately, in these high mountain ski resort towns that I represent, a lot of Californians can afford to move there, and they're bringing the same policies that they're fleeing from.
Listen, all the money these Californians are bringing when they go to Aspen, we've really got to stop it right away.
So I asked this to every conservative or Republican official that I talked to. Like, when the people come, do you think they have no idea that they voted for those policies, that they're now fleeing, and realize that maybe they should think about things a little bit
Aren't they going for vacation? What does he mean? Fleeing?
differently now?
No, I mean, because their actions would prove that.
Yeah.
They think they can flee from their problems, and unfortunately, there is a lower class of people who cannot afford to flee those bad policies that they have voted in and implemented, and so they
Something about how she says lower class sounds pejorative.
get to leave, pack up, and go to somewhere with lower taxes and better opportunities and still have a beautiful scenic view. But there is another class that's left behind that cannot afford to make that same move.
Congresswoman, you've now been directly tied to the insurrection. Do you think you will ever actually face consequences for your complete abortive attack on the pillars of democracy of this country.
And they are the ones who are stuck in.
Well, Dave, that's really funny you ask that. You know, when in Colorado, people from California show up, it's really not good.
In that terrible economy and a horrible state where they are left now to depend on the government to help.
It's funny how this entire California attack, it's like California has one of the most dynamic economies in the world. If California were a country, it would be growing as quickly as some developing countries that are experiencing rapid growth. And it's a state that's been around for a long time. I don't know what year California became a state in. Do they have a homelessness problem? Yes, they do. But we have a country that, how many industries are overwhelmingly based in California? I mean, this entire attack California thing is crazy.
In their situations or even in these failing economies where taxes are just too high to afford the homes that they want to live in. So, I mean, it's really impacts them more than anything. And then they come to these other states and bring those same policies. So I wouldn't think that they knew what impact they're having on these communities.
Yeah, the idea that they're leaving the people who can't afford to move is sort of interesting too. You know, I realized this morning when I was thinking about how I wanted to do this interview that, you know,
it was a really bad idea, but unfortunately it was too late. And I'm a right winger now, so I said, let her come in, but send the dog in to make it all funny.
If you take sort of the new crop of Congress people and you think about mostly the Democrats.
Is it possible that that's a green screen? It almost looks like something is weird about this shot. Does anybody agree with me that there's something's weird about this? It almost looks like a green screen and Rubin is lit completely differently. Like, do these shadows even make sense? I don't even know. Something's strange here. I don't know. Nothing wrong with using a green screen. I use one when I travel. Just everything about this is strange.
Outside, we all know everything about AOC.
No, I guess that's real, right? Is it? It's a real. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it.
We know everything about Ilhan Omar, probably too much, more than we want to know. We know everything about Ayanna Pressley and the rest of the crew. But we don't actually know that much from a national perspective about you. And it's like, it seems like people should be talking about you just as much, but that's not really how the media operates because you're a scary conservative.
No, it's because she's an idiot and she doesn't know anything. Let's skip ahead and just see a little of something else. We're not going to do all of this, obviously.
Up to that. Certainly, I don't think that this is a president that obtained 81 million votes. You know, I think he would have a little bit of confidence in his base to at least answer questions. If this was such a popular president, but I mean that's neither here nor there. But
actually, if she doesn't think Biden really got the votes he reportedly got, it is a big deal. That's a big deal. That's crazy.
I objected to the Electoral College results because the Constitution was violated, and that's our biggest threat right now. Is the complete disregard of the Constitution of the United States. You know, you could go and try to find votes in Arizona, votes in Georgia, whatever. Hundreds of thousands of votes, ballots were mailed out right in our faces against state constitutions and the federal Constitution.
Meaning because we changed procedures because of COVID, basically.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's not unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Because the state
Rubin likes it, but that's not unconstitutional.
Legislature has the right to change election laws. And in 6 states in particular, it was not the state legislatures that did that. No legislator passed a law like that. We had rogue judges, attorneys generals, secretaries of states, and unelected bureaucrats changing election laws. And so, I mean, that's the big, that's what everyone's missing, right?
Dave, come on.
There. That is why me and 146 other Republicans objected.
That's why I and other Republicans objected. Please, Lauren.
In January. And then this has just been spun out of control, and we got to find 10,000 ballots and we got to find 20,000 ballots. No, hundreds of thousands were mailed out illegally right in front of your faces.
It was against the Constitutions.
What percentage of your constituents do you think care?
Fall for this shit.
about this, because I can tell you after this California recall that obviously didn't go the way that I wanted to.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Before and after, almost everybody that I spoke to, and I campaigned with Larry Elder, almost everyone that I spoke to, it might literally be everyone I spoke to during the campaign, said, Dave, do you trust what's going to happen with the results? Which
right. That one was fake too, guys. That was a fraudulent election too.
they're already, that's their way of saying, I don't trust what's going to happen with the results. So now we've got like this almost parasite in the system now of belief or lack of belief.
Yes. And that is very concerning because
It's funny. They act like the fact that the right doesn't trust elections is evidence that the elections can't be trusted. When in reality, the fact that the right doesn't trust elections is a reaction to the story that Donald Trump told, where he said 2016 couldn't be trusted, even though he won electorally. And in advance, he said you weren't going to be able to trust 2020. And it became a meme. The fact that they've fallen for you can't trust the results, they're saying clearly you can't trust them because we don't. It's like, no, that's specious reasoning, Dave.
because I would say high 90s, high 90% of the folks that follow me and are voting don't have trust in our election.
Anyway, I think that's enough. But when the average kind of like Trumpy, whatever watches this, who do you think they see as more of the thinker, Dave Rubin or Lauren Boebert, when they watch an interview like this? What do people think? Like, who do they see as the intellectual heavyweight here? Rubin's dog. Yeah, that's probably true. That's not wrong.
Throw him the hell out of here.
The camera tech who came in. Yeah. Okay. All right. Very, very good. Very good.